Hi, VencoreWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Friday, October 27th. A big storm is headed to the Mid-Atlantic region and northeast U.S. for later Sunday night into the early part of Monday. This storm will feature lots of different important ingredients, including tropical moisture that will feed in from its south and southeast, and a cold polar air mass will be moving in from the north and west on the western side of this storm. All of this will occur while there's a blocking pattern up to the north. That'll play an important role, and we'll go over all of these ingredients over the next few minutes. But again, a big storm headed to the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast U.S. for later Sunday night into early Monday. Let's start off by focusing in on the tropical activity. This is where we're looking right now. There's a much more organized area of showers and thunderstorms this morning over the Caribbean as compared with 24 hours or so. This could in fact become a named tropical storm over the next 24 hours or 36 hours. If it does, it would become named Philippe. Whether it becomes a tropical storm or not is not all that important in the big picture. All of this tropical moisture will be pushing to the north over the next 36 to 48 hours or so, and certainly play a big role in the expected developing storm over the Mid-Atlantic coastline later in the weekend. This will get absorbed by that intensifying low pressure area during the latter part of the weekend. Initially, it'll cause some heavy rain over Cuba and southern Florida, including the Keys, over the next 24 hours or so. And again, all of this will be pushing to the north and will certainly play a role in this coastal storm that'll form in the latter part of the weekend. The bottom line is a lot of this tropical moisture will end up as heavy rainfall over places like the northeast U.S., where 4 or 5 inches could fall in the interior sections of New England, upstate New York, for example, by the time Monday morning rolls around. Well, that previous look from the GOES East satellite was a still infrared satellite image. Now we're looking at a colorized loop of infrared images, and this shows pretty well the development over the last several hours. Again, much more organized area sitting right here over the Caribbean. It has a 50-50 shot at developing into Tropical Storm Philippe over the next 24 to 48 hours or so, but whether it does or not, all of this moisture will start to turn to the north in the next several hours, and certainly make a beeline to the north over the next 48 hours or so. And again, this tropical moisture will feed into the developing coastal storm from the south and east during the latter part of the weekend. Well, let's take a look at the all-important 500 millibar height anomaly forecast maps. This is all using the 0Z European model run of these maps, available from tropicaltidbits.com. The European model has been a little bit more bullish with this upcoming potential threat, a little bit stronger with the storm expected along the Mid-Atlantic coastline by late Sunday night as compared to the GFS model run. I think the European probably has a little better handle on it. First thing I wanted to point out here is blocking pattern that is in place right now. This is actually the 24-hour forecast map from last night's 0Z European model run. And notice what's going on here, the southern part of Greenland. This is actually the southern half of Greenland. All these oranges represent above normal heights, higher pressure than normal. This is the position we focus in on during the winter for high latitude blocking events. In fact, we just put out our winter outlook a few days ago, and we focus in a lot on the potential for some high latitude blocking events. Well, not only does that play a role in the wintertime, but right now this will play an important role in this unfolding scenario for the latter part of the week. And basically it'll help to slow down an approaching deep upper level trough and help to tilt it to a negative orientation, and that all intensifies surface low pressure, in this case right near the Mid-Atlantic coastline. So again, blocking pattern over Greenland, northeastern part of Canada, and here we go. By tonight, strong upper level trough in the middle part of the country. Let's jump ahead 24 hours. Notice here by tomorrow evening, Saturday evening, a pretty much north to south orientation at this time In other words, a neutral tilt to the axis of that upper level trough. That's an important thing I want to point out here, how that changes in the next 24-hour period. Notice all these oranges to the northeast, again, blocking pattern in place, lots of abnormal high pressure here. This trough really has nowhere to go. It's going to slow down, and because of this blocking pattern, basically be forced to slow down and go negatively tilted. Let's go ahead another 24 hours. Here we go by Sunday night, and this is when all the action will be quite furious, especially in the northeastern part of the country. That upper level trough takes on a negatively tilted axis right here. Notice, basically from the northwest to the southeast. That's what we mean by a negatively tilted trough axis. At the same time, strong surface low pressure will be right around this region right here, maybe just off the Delmarva Peninsula to near the southern New Jersey coastline as of Sunday evening. A powerful storm. Areas to the north and east of that particular low pressure center will have strong wind gusts, and we'll see a wind gust forecast, a wind forecast map shortly. But certainly the coastal sections of New Jersey, and especially Long Island and southern New England, could be in for some very strong wind gusts late Sunday night into the early part of Monday. Again, because of this blocking pattern right here, this upper level trough slows down and goes negatively tilted. All ingredients for a major storm, in this case late Sunday night. Colder air also is pouring in on the western flank here. There could be some snow over the Ohio Valley on Saturday, and then over the higher elevations late Sunday night on the western side of this storm in places like West Virginia, eastern Ohio, maybe even higher elevations of western Pennsylvania. Well, let's now take a look at another forecast map from last night's 0Z European model run. This is for Sunday evening. Shows a couple of things here that I want to point out. First of all, the surface low pressure area, according to the European model, right here, 985, let me take a closer look, 985 millibars, very impressive low, just off the Delmarva Peninsula, not too far south and east of New Jersey. Very healthy storm here, and it'll end up going north from this point right into the interior part of the northeast U.S., eastern New York State, for example. Notice these winds. Now, this is at 850 millibars, a couple thousand feet up in the atmosphere. Nonetheless, very impressive winds here in that part of the atmosphere. And again, there can be some strong wind gusts down at the surface, but notice the purple here just on the east side of the surface low pressure area. Look at the legend. That's indicating some 50, 60, 70 mile per hour winds here at 850 millibars, and some reds here indicating 50 mile per hour winds, again in the lower part of the atmosphere over Long Island, southeastern New York, including the New York City area. So strong wind gusts is certainly a likelihood for this particular event in places like New Jersey along the coastline, and New York City, Long Island, and southern New England. Now, in terms of rainfall, several inches can fall. Let's take a look now at the the NOAA forecast map from last night. And here we go. This is for the total precipitation amounts for this upcoming system. Again, using NOAA's forecast map from last night, and I agree with the general scenario here. Healthy rainfall from D.C. all the way up to New York City. Now, certainly the impact for this particular storm will be more in New York City than compared to D.C., for example. As this storm continues to intensify to the north and east, that'll be where the greatest impact will be. Places like Long Island, southern New England, for example. But certainly a significant rain event all the way from D.C. to Philadelphia to New York City. Perhaps an inch and a half in D.C., 2 inches or so in Philly, up to 3 inches in New York. Now look, upstate, interior parts of the Northeast, perhaps 4 or 5 inches of rain. And again, strong winds will be a likelihood, especially to the north and east of that surface low pressure system along the New Jersey coastline, Long Island, southern New England, even some strong wind gusts down to D.C. and Philadelphia metro region. A very healthy storm on the way for late Sunday night into the early part of Monday. And again, some snow can form on the west side over the Ohio Valley and the Appalachian Mountains of western Pennsylvania, West Virginia, for example. and all of this moves into New England early Monday, and the strong northwest winds will then kick in D.C., Philadelphia, and eventually New York City on the day Monday, and that chill stays around for a couple of days into the early part of next week. So a big storm coming for the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast U.S., especially later Sunday night will be the main focus, I think, in our particular area into the early part of Monday. That's it for now. For VencoreWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.